All right, I think we finally got this. A little bit of a connection issue here. Let me know if you guys can see me. I think we're going live right now. I think this is right. Again, having a little bit of an issue, so I do apologize for that. So as you guys are getting in here, let me know if you can see me. Let me know if the visuals are okay and everything like that. I think that we are live during halftime of Monday Night Football. Maybe we'll even go a little bit longer now that we were a little late. I do apologize. Hey Anthony, you guys see me okay? Do I look good? Everything looking okay on your end? Had a little bit of technical difficulties to get things started. Awesome, thank you Anthony. So let's get this thing started off the right way, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Billievers Talk. My name is Joe and welcome to this post-game edition of Billievers Talk. For those of you who are new to the channel, who might not know how we like to do things here on Billievers Talk, I like to take a little bit of time before I just simply give my post-game analysis. Listen, we have a lot of post-game analysis the same day. Hey, Austin Church, good to see you in here. Buffalo had bye week in week 1, says Geek Squad. I agree with you completely. But we're glad if you want to know. I just tweeted out, listen, or I think I just put on Buffalo Fanatics as they had their video going on right now as well. I just put out there, listen, only 16 teams are going to be 1-0 at the end of week 1. We're one of them, right, baby? We're one of them. Only 50% of teams we want to know, and we are one of them. So again, guys, thank you for joining me on Believers Talk. As you're getting in here, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for me and share this video. We're going to talk about the good. We're going to talk about the bad from yesterday's game. As I say, there's always something you can learn from these games, right? Always things that you can improve on. Obviously, I'm going to take your comments. Hey, Elliot, glad to see you in here as well. Going to take your comments and see what you guys have to say about yesterday's 27-17 victory over the New Jersey Jets. And we all know that the game wasn't even that close, right? The score is not indicative to how the game actually went, and that's going to go into leak into some of the negatives. But I think I'm going to surprise some of you with some of my positives. If you were around for yesterday's live stream, again, guys, live streaming every single Buffalo Bills game, giving you live play-by-play and reaction to every single Bills game this season. So make sure if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to give you guys a schedule since this is week 1. If you're new to the channel, Mondays, I'll be giving you my post game, right? Unless we play Monday Night Football, then of course it moves to Tuesdays. That's during halftime. Today we did it during halftime of the first game, but normally there's only one Monday night game, so halftime of Monday Night Football. And then on Wednesdays, I'll give you my pick 'em. I'll go straight up and against the spread. Not doing good this week, but we'll see if we can improve on that. Hey, Miguel, how you doing? Josh trying to be Superman, got to hold on to that rock, says Austin. We will talk about that. Of course, we're going to talk about that. And then you think about on Thursday, during Thursday Night Football, I'll give you my live video to give you a breakdown of the game coming up. Now, obviously, that's going to change week 6 when we play the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football, but that's going to be the schedule. Friday, I'll give you my injury report. We got some good news today. I think it's good news regarding our linebackers. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then, obviously, on Sunday, we go live, giving you a live play-by-play reaction. So those are all the live streams that I do. And then, of course, regular breakdown videos and also giving you breaking news. So make sure you subscribe to Billievers Talk, hit that notification bell. So let's get right into it. Again, I don't want to keep you guys too much longer than halftime. Let me know some of your initial thoughts. Geek Squad, we are going to talk about Tyler Bass. He was the trolling Jets fan on the live stream. There are a few Jets fans on the live stream yesterday, but that's okay. Again, we're going to have fans from opposing teams joining us on these live streams, and that's okay. I want to be there for you guys. I want to be there for Bills Mafia. But if someone else wants to catch a game, listen, there's going to be games that we lose this year where people are going to razz on us too, and that's fine. But yeah, there were definitely some Jets fans in the stream yesterday, and I was glad to have all those people in there. So let's talk about again, I normally try to give you 3 negatives and 3 positives that I saw from the game yesterday. And again, I rewatched the game after I did the play-by-play just to get a feel for what I was looking at and maybe get a better idea of the positives and negatives from this game. The first negative I do want to talk about, we'll start with the negatives and we'll go on to the positives. And we'll just talk about the fact that we are 1-0. And so you have to, everything that I say and everything that every other post game is going to say about the Buffalo Bills, we have to take with a grain of salt because, again, the Bills are 1-0, and that's the most important thing. Winning is the name of the game. If you have a fantasy team and Devin Singletary didn't do well for your fantasy team, I don't care. I want to win. Winning football is what matters to me. I'm accurate 30 yards and in. Maybe I can just bass job, LOL. Maybe he just was nervous. Well, again, we'll talk about that. So the first thing I want to talk about I think is the obvious one. That's going to be the turnovers, right? If you look at how the Buffalo Bills played yesterday, definitely could have put this game away early in the first half. We had 3 straight scoring possessions. However, the bookends of both of those 3 scoring possessions on both those drives were Josh Allen fumbles. Josh Allen cannot be fumbling the ball. We all know this, and this is something that's plagued him his whole career. I don't see it changing anytime soon. So what does that mean? That means, A, we need to stop running the ball with Josh Allen as much. And we're going to talk about the runs with Josh Allen a little bit later in this video as well. We need to stop running with Josh Allen as much. And when we do, he needs to learn how to slide. He needs to learn how to avoid that contact as he's going down. Because, again, this is his 3rd year in the league. Fumbling has been an issue from day one. And I don't see it getting much better. Now, last year against the Jets, he had 2 fumbles that he lost. And then he only lost 2 more the rest of the season. He had 14 overall, but he only lost 2 more. So hopefully that's an indicator of what's going to happen this year as well. Hopefully he learns from his mistakes and he can do a much better job with that. Why does he insist on running when there's so many options? And that's something we talked about yesterday. You have so many weapons on offense. Now, you do have to wonder, the Jets' defensive line was playing the run really well yesterday. So you do have to wonder if that played into the play calling, give Josh Allen some more looks, because there are so many weapons. Maybe that Josh Allen was the one that they were saying, hey, we don't have enough eyes to keep an eye on Josh Allen in the backfield. Gave him some room in the middle of the field, and he took advantage of that for the most part. But again, that first fumble, he gained a few yards, he got the first down, and then he gets hit from behind, he fumbles it, right? But he did have the first down prior to that fumble. So again, you take the good with the bad always, but yeah, this is just not, you don't want to be fumbling, especially, we were inside the 25-yard line both times, knocking on the door, getting ready to score. So that matters when you're talking about playing some other opponents. Again, as I think it was Geek Squad who said when he first came into the chat, he said, we had a bye week 1. And we pretty much did. The Jets came out flat. They came out having no desire to. It looked like they even want to be there half the time. Sam Darnold came out, wasn't throwing anything on target, but they had 3 straight 3-and-outs. I mean, they just did not look good at all in this game. And yet the Buffalo Bills let them stay in it. John Brown's still the number 1 receiver. My thoughts, okay, we can talk about that too. That's part of my positives, is talking about the wide receivers, so we will talk about that. My second negative has to be that run game. We were just talking about that. Minus Josh Allen. You take Josh Allen out of the run game. Our run game went 18 carries for 41 yards. That's not good enough for Singletary Moss. We need to see more from them as the game gets ready to start, guys. Again, sorry for the late start, but the second half is getting ready to kick off and get underway. But we need more out of these 2 guys. That's only 2.28 yards per carry. So hopefully that's an indication about how good the Jets' defensive line is and not how bad our offensive line is at blocking for the run. I think our offensive line did a good job pass blocking, but when it comes to run blocking, the numbers speak for themselves. You're talking about 2.28 yards per carry, just not good enough. You need to do better. So then we talked about my third bad from this game. My third negative takeaway from the game yesterday has to be injuries. Now, we did hear today that both Milano and Edmonds listed as day-to-day. Okay, so that's good news. At least it's not week to week or anything like that where they're going to be out for a significant amount of time. Maybe a week, maybe 2 at the most, but it appears that Milano and Edmonds and Dotson, who also went out yesterday, all appear to be day-to-day, and hopefully that means that they'll be ready to go come next week. Definitely a scare as well, as Hyde went out in this game, so some injury concerns early on. We were thinking that maybe we'd see more injuries early on since there were no preseason games, but definitely some scary situations for the Buffalo Bills in yesterday's game. Again, guys, thank you for joining me on Billievers Talk. My name is Joe. If you're just joining the stream, we just went over my negatives for this game. We're going to get ready to go over my positives. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, guys. I really do appreciate it as we get ready to go over my positives from yesterday's game. So my first positive, as I move over here so you guys can see it, my first positive from yesterday's game has to be Josh Allen. Yes, I know we had those 2 fumbles, right? I know they did not play that great when it comes to the running attack. But if you look at how he passed the ball, guys, there was a second down, and I don't know if you guys were joining me. I didn't get to watch the game. Is Norman out? Norman was out yesterday. Yeah, Austin. But there was a time in the game where I think it was 2nd and 10, and you saw Josh Allen looking to go deep, and there was nothing open. And he checked it down to Devin Singletary for an 8-yard gain. And I was so happy with that play because you see some progression from Josh Allen. You see him looking through his progression at wide receivers, which is something he normally would not do. There were a couple of throws, maybe 1 or 2 at most, where he tried to jam it in there, where he tried to beat the defense, even though the pass obviously wasn't there, but it didn't work out. Luckily, they weren't intercepted. However, for the most part, you saw him use those checkdowns. You saw him go 6-yard out routes. You saw him going dink and dunk a little bit during this game. So you look at Josh Allen's numbers, 33 of 46, most pass attempts in his career, 71.7%. I know it's still early, but Diggs has been nothing but professional with the Bills. I fell for the media narrative that he was a diva for Minnesota. I did not. I'm happy. Again, people in Minnesota were talking about how good of a teammate he was, and yeah, he's been nothing but professional and nothing but great for this team, both in the offseason and obviously in week 1. But Josh Allen, 71% completion percentage, 312 yards, a 2-0 TD to interception ratio, plus the rushing touchdown. If you had Josh Allen in fantasy, you liked his numbers even with the 2 fumbles. He put up a great day as far as numbers. Bull Moose, the update is they're both day-to-day, both Milano and Edmonds, which is actually good news. Nothing too serious, hopefully, for them, and hopefully we get to see him practicing by the end of the week. So a little scary, obviously, yesterday, right? That was one of my negatives about this game, is coming with those injuries, but they look like they are day-to-day, and they should be ready to go or at least hopefully ready to go within the next 2 weeks. Maybe miss a week, but they will be ready to go shortly thereafter. So Josh Allen, you have to put on as a big positive in this game. Moving on to my next positive, and some of you might think I'm crazy here, but Brian Daboll called a great game. And if you were with me yesterday, you know I was going absolutely bonkers with Josh Allen having 12 rush attempts in the first half. Josh Allen having 12 rush attempts in the first half should never happen again. But then I rewatched the game. And something occurred to me. Okay, if you go back and watch the game, out of those 12 rush attempts, 5 of them, Darnold seeing ghosts again, yeah he is, 5 of those rush attempts were option plays, which means Allen decided to keep the ball. He could have given it to Singletary, and 2 of them in particular, Singletary was the one that ball should have went to. 2 of them I saw, Singletary had a lane, and Allen decided to take it back and try to run himself. Give that ball to Singletary every chance you get, but you take those 5 away, and now you're talking about 7 carries in the first half, and that's still not that great, but it's still better than when you see that 12 number, right? So maybe we're being a little bit too hard on Brian Daboll when it comes to calling runs for Josh Allen. We want Josh Allen to have options back there, right? If he sees a play break up, that's the benefit of having an athletic running back or a running quarterback back there, is that they can really dictate for themselves when it's a good time to hand the ball off to the running back and when it's a good time to tuck it and try to run it the other way. Truth of the matter is, there were very few opportunities for either. Again, that Jets defensive line, hopefully, again, that was a good showing by the Jets defensive line and not a bad showing by the Bills offensive line when it comes to run blocking. But we're going to see what happens. Obviously, week 2 is going to be a different story with Miami, and you talk about passing the ball as much as the Bills did. Hey, Kenneth, how you doing? Good to see you. Why during Monday Night Football? I always go live during halftime of Monday Night Football. That's just the way I've always done it the past 3 years. Obviously, I started a little late, so I'm still going on during Monday Night Football. I try to get this done by halftime, so I'm trying to hurry up here. But it's a little different today compared to most weeks just because of the 2 Monday Night Football format. Every other week, I'll be live during halftime of those single Monday Night Football games. So, Omister, just make sure you keep that in mind. Make sure you get the post game during Monday Night Football. If you want to watch the game instead, come back. After I post this video, it's going to stay there. It's not going anywhere. So, you can definitely go ahead and watch this game later. Enjoy Monday Night Football. Steelers right now winning 16-10. And then you can come back and watch this later. But I always enjoy you guys in the chat room. So, if you want to leave a message, again, this chat always goes better when you guys are here. But let's talk more about Brian Daboll. Again, again, I thought the offensive game plan was pretty great yesterday. Only the one punt, and listen, we all know how much I hate Corey Bojorquez, so the less I see of him, the better. So if Corey Bojorquez has one punt for 53 yards, great job, but I just still don't want to see all that much. But over 400 yards of offense, if we keep that up, if you have the 409 of yards of offense, if you do that on average for 16 weeks, that would have ranked us third in the NFL in offensive production last season. Only the one punt, like I mentioned, we had a chance to score on 9 of the 10 drives. Remember, all 9 of those drives, we either had the ball inside the 30-yard line and fumbled, or you missed 2 field goals. Either way, we had a chance to score on 9 out of 10 possessions. And about those 2 missed field goals, I know someone brought that up earlier. Listen, the first one was good. I said that on the live stream as it happened. As it happened, I saw the line judge go no good. And I was like, wait a second. That was good. Like, I saw it. I saw 3, 4 more angles. Maybe his best yet in Buffalo, says Daniel. Yeah, first of all, thanks for joining me. And yeah, it might have been his best game plan yet for the Buffalo Bills. We love him up in that booth. But as I was watching the game yesterday, and if you were watching it with me, you can vouch for me. I said that was good as the official was ruling it off as no good. And every replay after still looked good. And then, of course, they come back and take a look at it over and over and over again. And it appears that I was correct. So you wonder if he kicks a field goal and it's good, and they rule it no good, and it's your first NFL kick, what does that do for your confidence? Plus, Corey Bojorquez laces in during that second field goal, so he misses that second field goal, but he makes 2 more. So I'm not upset at all about Bass's performance yesterday. I know that they were going to the right a little bit, right? So we might have some work to do, but I'm not upset at all. As I've been saying on this channel, Sebastian Janikowski went 50% on field goals his first season. 50%, and that's exactly what Tyler Bass did yesterday. If we end up with a guy like Sebastian Janikowski on our team, big leg, consistently good every season, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that every day of the week, okay? So let's give the kid a break. Let's calm down. Went 2 for 4, should have been 3 for 4. And let's just hope that he gets better with time. But Brian Daboll, you cannot be upset with his game plan. And look at that time of possession. The time of possession is just absolutely amazing. 41 plus minutes of time possession. That defense was getting gassed, and that secondary was looking bad, okay? We knew that secondary was going to be bad going into the game. By the end of the game, that secondary was barely even there. So great job. 31 first downs. We can go on and on. As Daniel Gowrie said, this might be the best game plan Brian Daboll's ever had for the Buffalo Bills. I wasn't impressed with Cam Newton against the Dolphins. He's being overhyped by the media. Well, we see that a lot with New England, right? 2 rushing touchdowns. He did not throw a receiving touchdown. He didn't throw all that well when he threw to his receivers to begin with. I am not worried about New England yet. There's no reason to worry there. I think next week's going to be a huge test for New England against Seattle, and I think that's going to tell us a lot. I think that's really going to tell us a lot about the New England Patriots. But hey, we don't have to worry about them until week 8, week 7, something like that. So, week 9, actually. No, week 8. Week 8. Don't doubt yourself, Joe. The Jets are top 3 in run defense, the strongest part of the whole team. Well, it's not hard to be a strong, again, it's great to be the top shit on the pile shit, right? I mean, it's great to be that, right? They definitely made a statement, Allen, with a career-high 300-yard passing game. Yeah, there was just so much good about Brian Daboll and Josh Allen in that game. And now that brings us to my third pro of this game, and that has to be the wide receivers. Not only did Josh Allen do well, and he did, he distributed the ball very well to wide receivers, tight ends. Dawson Knox had a few good catches in this game. Running backs, Zach Moss with his first career touchdown was a receiving touchdown. But look at these numbers by the wide receivers, okay? You talk about John Brown, 6 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown. Diggs, 8 receptions, 86 yards. Beasley, 4 receptions. If you break that down, let's say you extrapolate that over a 16-game season. That means over 120 receptions for Stephon Diggs. That means about 96 receptions for John Brown. And that means about 68 receptions for Cole Beasley. Okay, we will take those numbers happily for those 3 guys. It's a great trio, and they proved it again yesterday. Again, there's not a lot of balls to go around, okay? Unfortunately, you only get 1 ball per play. So the receiving numbers, obviously, everyone who wants to see them get their numbers. But if these 3 guys keep getting numbers like this, the Buffalo Bills are going to be a big-time threat for any team they face, because you don't know who to guard. Now, listen, I don't know who said earlier in the comment section, don't expect 300 yards against the Dolphins. Will be more balanced game, says Angry Buffalo Sports Fans. We're going to see what happens, right? Again, and I didn't make a video on this during the offseason, but I really wanted to. I saw so many people talking about the Buffalo Bills' offensive identity and how we're not sure if we have one. I hate that because I'm not supposed to know our offensive identity. Listen, if I know the Bills' offensive identity, then the other team will know the team's offensive identity. You saw the Kansas City game on Thursday night. Clyde Hilaire, whatever his name is, the running back. What's Kansas City, a running team or a passing team? I would say passing because of Mahomes, but they can definitely beat you with the run game. And that's what I want to see out of Buffalo. They're a running team, but man, they can beat you deep. They can beat you with the pass any day, so you need to respect both. And I want to see that against Miami. Miami does not have as good of a run defense as the Jets do, so let's exploit that. Let's exploit that week 1 run defense and get Singletary and Moss to get combined 100 yards, something like that. So that way when we go into that Rams game, go into the rest of the season, teams will be like, well, week 1 they passed the ball pretty good. Josh Allen over 70%. But man, week 2, they ran the heck out of the ball, and Miami couldn't stop it. So I feel like the Jets tried to injure Diggs. There were a couple hits that Diggs took that looked pretty awful. So I hope that's not true. But again, look who their defensive coordinator is, and look at his history. So, but those were my 3 positive takes from this game. Talk about Brian Daboll having probably, as Daniel said, the best game plan as a Buffalo Bills so far as an offensive coordinator. Man, if he had these type of game plans last season, I think there's no way the Cleveland Browns look past him when looking for a new head coach. Josh Allen, 71% completion percentage. You can say whatever you want about his rushing. And again, his rushing numbers are because of Josh Allen. Again, yesterday during the game, if you're watching, I flipped out over the fact that Brian Daboll was running Josh Allen 12 times in the first half. But here's the thing, were option plays where Josh Allen chose to keep the ball. Okay, so you take those 5 away and you're talking about 7 carries in the first half, and maybe you could take away those 2 fumble carries too. But definitely not all on Brian Daboll that Josh Allen ran the ball 12 times in the first half. That number needs to go down. I don't care how it goes down. We saw in the second half he ran only twice. That number needs to go down and needs to stay consistently around 5, 6, maybe 8 at the most in a game for the Buffalo Bills to have a better chance of, first of all, keeping him healthy and having him not fumble that football. Josh Allen, hold on to the ball. Glad he didn't throw any interceptions yesterday, but you need to learn how to hold on to that ball. But yeah, those are my 3 positives. Again, the wide receivers, Daboll and Josh Allen. You look at my negatives, the injuries. But again, we had good news today about the injuries. Milano, Edmonds, day to day. Hopefully, they continue to improve. And then you talk about the running game. Other than Josh Allen, you had 2 rushers, Singletary and Moss. Only averaged 2.7 yards. I agree, Joe. He ran a little too much for me. I need to keep Allen as healthy as we can. Yeah, we need to keep Allen as healthy as we can, absolutely. But we can't blame Brian Daboll for that 100%. Some of those runs, again, there were 2 in particular. As I rewatched the game, there were 2 runs in particular where he had a chance to hand off to Singletary. He had the option to hand off to Singletary. Singletary had a hole. No, it's all on you, Kenneth Osborne. You need to keep Josh Allen healthy. If Josh Allen goes out, it's your fault. And I'm blaming you, and I'm letting everyone know it. But he had 2 chances to give the ball to Singletary. Singletary would have had a lane, possibly would have had a first down, and he still tucked the ball in and took off for himself. One of those ended up in a 3-yard loss. So he needs to learn how to take care of the ball and how to read that option and just not have to run the ball, not feel like he has to take it into his own hands. But other than that, I think that's it. I think, the Buffalo Bills come up with a really impressive win. The score not indicative of how much we dominated that game. I thought we did a great job in that one. Tell me what you think about the visuals too. It's my first time doing that, so I hope you guys like those. And I hope they didn't mess up the stream too badly. That's why I started late, because I was trying to figure out how to do that and the live stream. It was really confusing for me, guys. I'm not the greatest with technology, so I was like, wait, can I do this? But it looked like it worked out okay. But again, guys, thank you for joining me on this post-game edition of Billievers Talk. Buffalo Bills win, and that's the key thing. Like I said, only 16 teams are going to be 1-0 at the end of the season, and here at Buffalo, we're one of those teams, so I'm glad to hear that. But But again, second half has already started, more than halfway through. Allen needs to walk around with the ball in his hands for the next couple of days and have his players slap at the ball so he learns how to control the ball. And that's another point that actually my dad made when I was talking to my dad about this game, is in practice, they're not having the defense run behind Josh Allen, tackle him, and try to knock the ball out. That's not something they do. Thank you, Miguel, for the compliment. So maybe he does need to have those guys run through the line and have him hit the ball just to get a little bit better with his ball security. But other than that, happy with the win overall, and we will look forward to next week. Again, I'm going to keep you up to date on the injury reports of Milano and Edmonds. I'm going to keep you up to date on what's going on with the Miami Dolphins. Fitzpatrick still looks like he's going to be the starter week 2, so that means we're going to have Fitzmagic coming to, or we're going to Miami in this one, but it looks like we're going to have Fitzmagic. Hopefully he can throw 3 interceptions against us and help us get another victory. But again, guys, thank you for joining me on this post-game edition of Believers Talk. Enjoy the second half of this game. Enjoy the next game as well, Denver Titans. I hope it's a good one. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.